Mark is usually here with us because he'll set up the camera. So today I'm fully Michael. Very different quantities.
Here, let me get the dentist on demand in the back. Slide this way. Oh, there you go. I'm advertising for Yellow Dog here too. When we get our ugly sweaters on, I'm sure you'll want a picture of that too. No, he's really good. This is really a nice setup.
It's
nice and quiet.
This is all professional. Check this out.
No way.
So we'll do an introduction. We'll do a quick intro. Hey everybody, Tyler McClendon, welcome. Hey, it's Christmas.
It is.
We're getting close to it. So
then why is it raining? It should be snowing.
Because we're in like a rainforest that will not let us see the light of day. But hey, we're happy. Tyler McClendon here with Dentist on Demand. Lucky to have with me Dr. Ed Lowe.
Hey,
it's good to see you, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. What else am I going to do on a Friday morning, my first day off?
That's right.
With a bit of a coconut after the night before with my team, then to come out and hang out with you.
This is so awesome. So thank you. So anyways, as I was saying, Michael is he came in and he spoke at our club there at your study club, and like just getting him out there. I think we were going to have him speak at the PDC, or we're going to have like a separate room to have him talk about marketing and just telling your own story and what that's all about. Just like, because I just find that telling your story in the world of dentistry is becoming it's becoming front and center, you know?
Well, I think that nowadays people want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
Whether, from a doctor point of view, you want to know what your colleague is like. You want to know what they do, how they do it, and if they're successful, you want to model that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a dentist also who wants to learn something, you're going to look up mentors that are available on webinars and everything else to be able to access that.
Right.
From a patient point of view, I think that when you're out there, you're able to know a little bit of the dentist. It's funny, when patients come in, they go, "Oh yeah, I know all about you. I know you're not as good looking in person as you are on your social media." It's smoke and mirrors. They know about you. They know about your practice. They know about what you do and everything else. They're well educated when they come in.
They already know.
Well, you dial it back, maybe 15 years ago. When people come in, all they've seen are a still picture, maybe a little writing underneath in a magazine.
Top-rated dentist in Vancouver.
Well, they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Or they'll come in and they go, I like it in here. It's one or the other. It's hit and miss, right? So now I had a patient once. She came in. I have glass doors in front of my office.
It's a beautiful office.
She came in. She went out. She circled in. She walked away.
Did a couple flybys.
Oh, she did a couple flybys over a week, and then she finally decided to come in. I'm glad I had a looking glass that she kind of look into. But if it was a solid door, clean. I wonder how she would have gotten in. I'm really curious.
These people look professional.
I wouldn't have known how she got in. She might have gone, here's Johnny.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to show you my teeth now. Okay, so I'm going to do the compulsory thing. We call this podcast A Day in the Life. So,
okay.
But for you, I mean, we've been friends for a number of years now, and I think that this is more just us jamming on some stuff. I want to talk a little bit about cosmetic dentistry, of course.
Sure.
It is what you're known for, and implant dentistry, of course. And then, do you mind if I read a little bit about you? Just so.
Sure, so long as it's not long and boring.
But I cut and paste a few things here about you, but
sure.
If you're like, hey man, you didn't talk enough about me, you just feel free to hit me in the side of the head. Dr. Ed Lowe believes in improved appearance and self-confidence through conservative aesthetic dental techniques. I want to come back to that.
Sure.
Dr. Lowe is an accredited member and an accreditation examiner in the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, a director and founding member of the Canadian Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry, and holds fellowships in the International Academy of Dental Facial Aesthetics, American College of Dentists, and the International Congress of Oral Implantologists.
That sounds about right.
That's a mouthful.
Oh, I just try to collect things up. That sounds really good.
You're a dental learning hoarder.
Well, I like dental C. I think a big part of it is that, you always want to, I'm just always trying to learn something new.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise, frankly, I get a little bit bored and C, and I just want to learn something new.
Right.
A lot of it's for me. I think
Just
for patients, they like to know that you've done something.
Right.
But a lot of the things that I collect are just, it's for my own accomplishment. It's not really for anything else. So a lot of things I achieve, I feel good about it.
Well, it's kind of why I do this too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for me, like Dentist on Demand sort of came out of a want to sort of showcase my clients, yourself being one of them. Stop messaging me. Yourself being one of them. So for me, it's like, I like learning about this stuff. Like every time I bring somebody into this room and we talk about dentistry, I find myself learning something new about your journey, about your training, about something that's new in dentistry. So I'm right there with you.
Well, it's and the same thing. I mean, look, when you come in and you talk about a product, I mean, talk about this setup. I mean, talk about different things. I'm always excited. I go like, green screen, you can make me look better. You mean I could look like I'm in Paris? You never know.
Today you're Spider-Man.
Well, it's really interesting, and I think that a lot of the times, we don't know how educated a professional is. Or do they just graduate out of school and never take another course? Are they someone who takes a lot of courses and keeps chasing that? Mm-hmm. Are they a person who really gets more involved in it and writes a lot, or teaches or lectures? And what exactly does that mean? Mm-hmm. Right? How important it is. Like, all I know is that if I was president of the College of Dental Surgeons, I see patients do this. My dentist is the president of the College of Dental Surgeons, or my dentist is the president of the BCDA. It's politics. It has nothing to do with your ability as a dentist, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of things I do, I'm not a politician. I'm happy there are great people who do that for our profession. But I think as a patient, you kind of want to make sure that your doctor keeps up with all the latest and greatest that keeps happening on a daily basis. Things change all the time.
Well, that sort of brings me, that was one of the questions I had for you was, so you go to school. Mind if I talk about your schooling a little bit?
No, you go right ahead.
Someone's ringing. Is that me?
That is not me. That was me, but I'll put it on mute.
Okay, so 1980, Bachelor of Science degree in biology from University of Victoria. 19, graduated University of British Columbia's Faculty of Dentistry. Did they find me? It's like a sonar.
They're searching.
We're underwater right now. Some sound effects going on. So graduated from the Faculty of Dentistry from UBC. And then in 1989, you established the Lowe Center of Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry in downtown Vancouver. So I graduate from dental school. Mm-hmm. I come out. I set up a clinic, I buy a clinic, whatever I want to do, I associate. Am I doing cosmetic dentistry day one?
No, I think, here's, you want to do cosmetic dentistry day one. You want to do every kind of dentistry day one. Let me put this in perspective. I
don't know if you guys are trained for that. Is that extra training?
Well, often it is. I'll say it right now, cosmetic dentistry is not a specialty. It's not a dental specialty. Okay. But I treat it like one. You take courses and you try to learn more about it. It's like let's take physician. Every physician can do some sort of minor surgery. Surgery, right. But how much they do depends on their training. I mean, they're not going to do open heart surgery, but comes a point where they can take a lot of training and do a certain amount if that's their interest, right? And that's the same with cosmetic dentistry. No, everybody can do cosmetic dentistry, which literally means you take a situation, you make it better than what it was. And you can enhance it aesthetically. It may not be functional, but it just looks better than what it is. And that's what cosmetics is. And I think when you get out of school, for example, you say, well, I want to do a lot of cosmetic dentistry. You'll always, even if you took a dark tooth and made it lighter, you've done cosmetic dentistry. Okay. But at how advanced and how much of it you do is what makes it a bit different. So as you do more things, you do need to take some training with that to be able to do it well. To broaden you can do it well. There's a difference between doing it and doing it well.
Right.
And so, sometimes, and I'm going to explain this because I do that when I'm doing my lectures, is difference between cosmetic and aesthetic dentistry.
Okay.
So cosmetic, and restorative dentistry. So you look up a dentist and they'll say, well, we do restorative and family. We do cosmetic and general.
This is
and
great to know.
What does all this mean?
Yeah, because when you're Googling a dentist, this is great to know. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
For
so I think it's good information to know, because I certainly didn't know. I go, wow, some people do kind of like, they're pretty busy. So if you do general dentistry, you do a little bit of everything, and that's what, in my opinion, the definition of that means. You do a little bit of everything. Now, if you do general and family dentistry, it means that you do everything general, and you see kids, a lot of it, and a lot of families, and depending on where you are, that's maybe something you want to say.
Right.
But if you do general and cosmetic dentistry, what does that word cosmetic dentistry? It means you enhance things, you make things look a bit better. General aesthetic dentistry means you do beautiful dentistry that's functional, works well, fits in the mouth, and is a little harder than just cosmetic dentistry, because in the end, the result is maybe cosmetic, but everything works just as well.
Right.
Let me give you an example. If a person does restorative dentistry on a front tooth that's darker, it may be chipped or something, and you put a cap on it, or color may not match, may not even work very well, or bite, but it's better than what they had, which was a broken tooth. That's restorative dentistry.
Okay, so you're getting them what they need here and now.
They need to get something back here so they can function or eat.
Right.
But as a result, it looks like they have a tooth. It may not be pretty, it may not work well, but they have something there. That's restoring something, right? Putting it back and rebuilding it.
Right.
Now, cosmetic dentistry, if you took that tooth and let's say you just, the tooth doesn't fit, all the teeth are crooked, but you simply made it white again, or you put a veneer on it or a crown on it and you put the tooth back on there, it just matches the others. That's cosmetic dentistry. Right? But it's not aesthetic, because a person may have really crowded teeth, right? So what's the difference between aesthetic dentistry? Now, aesthetic dentistry, if somebody came in with really crowded teeth and a broken tooth, you would go around saying, you would look at everything. So you have to have a knowledge of orthodontics, which is straightening teeth, periodontics, which is gums, oral surgery, which is moving the jaws and building the structure of a person, root canals, endodontics, which is some teeth may need that. You have to have a knowledge in general of the other specialties,
so very comprehensive
as well. So it's more comprehensive.
Right.
And when you put a person back together, everything's straight, everything chews well, everything is the right color, and everything's functional. And that's why aesthetic dentistry is really the definition of what we all want to achieve.
Right.
Cosmetic is what the public knows as, I want something cosmetic done. So that's the difference between the two, in a long-winded way.
No, it's good to make the difference, because if you're Googling a dentist, say like here we are in Langley, right? So if we move to Langley, or if I move to Vancouver or whatever, and I'm looking for a dentist, I Google a dentist and I see Dr. Ed Lowe, and I make the realization, okay, cosmetic aesthetic dentistry, it's important for me to know the difference between those things and say, okay, well, this person over here just does cosmetic, or they're trying to broaden their scope into more of an aesthetic area. At least I know that now to say, hey, you know what, are you guys able to make something that's a little more aesthetic, and using that word in my vernacular, I guess, right? Yeah. It's because aesthetic isn't as popular as cosmetic, so it's popular amongst.
I think aesthetic means for me a bit healthy too, and I think once again I said your patient looking it up may not understand what they mean. It's more for the professional to say that I do aesthetic dentistry,
right?
Than for me to say, well, I do cosmetic dentistry. It means two different things to me, but to a person looking up a dentist, it may mean very little. They might mean the same. They may choose cosmetic because it sounds better. Just because it's. I think my greatest example is this person comes in and they've got really crooked teeth. The teeth don't fit together, and they say, "Can I get veneers done?" And you say yes. So you do veneers. You cut their teeth down. Maybe some of them are crowned, and you make them a set of teeth that look straight. That's cosmetic.
Right.
But over the long term, their teeth really aren't straight. Their bite isn't proper. They
not
have
functional.
6 white front teeth like neon lights. It's not functional, so it's not really aesthetic or functional in my terms. And so I would rather practice, for me, whenever I can, being conservative and doing something functional is the way to go, because I want things
Focus
to
on
last.
function first.
Yeah, when you're 80 years old, I want you to be able to eat and smile, right? And when you're 90, maybe you just want to eat at that point. You don't care too much about smiling.
Pass me the
That's
yogurt.
functional, and that's really important, because sometimes I've had, at times I've had a patient, when you have a patient come in, it's cosmetics and the appearance of teeth drives the case, we call it. Like, so a person comes in, they're in your office because they want to look great, right? So they say, I want to get
What
it done.
brought you here?
Yeah, what brought you here? So a lot of time, I see patients like this all the time. They say, why are you here? Well, I'm here to see you, Dr. Lowe, because I want to get a set of veneers. I want to get veneers. And you'd be surprised. You think I do veneers all day, right? But I'll tell you, 1 out of 5 people actually get the veneers. A lot of the time, they aren't suited for veneers because patients go, I think I'll get veneers because I've seen them on social media, I've seen them on TV.
The selfie generation.
Actors have it, and wait, actors have it.
That means I want it.
I want it.
Is there an actor in here somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I think. So what happens is that they want the appearance, and they come in to see me, and they say, well, I want that, and often I have to kind of say, well, listen, I want these things to last a long time. Maybe veneers isn't the right way to go. Let me talk to you about how we can get your teeth in a position so that they're healthy and they're going to last a long time,
So
especially if you're younger.
Right. So maybe ortho. So they'd say, well, you know what?
And you hate to hear it.
We might get to a veneers eventually, and just so I like throwing the definitions out there. We'll do this as a separate thing, what a veneer is. But you might. So someone comes in and says that to you, and you're like, well, you know what? Maybe we should take a few steps back and look at ortho first. And by ortho, I mean moving your teeth, braces, or Invisalign, whatever that is, to then look at, okay, let's get them straighter and functional, and then look at making them more aesthetic.
Exactly.
In the end.
Yeah, for me, it's, when you think about it, we call aesthetics drives the case, but function finishes it. That's what I always say. So you'll come in to see me because you want it to look good. And some people will say, hey, you know what, I'll slap it in. I'm going to make you look good. And then you'll come in and you say, I know my teeth look great, but I can't bite, or they hurt all the time.
Right.
Or I get food stuck in between them. And now, and the worst thing you can have is a patient going, I wish I never got this done because I could eat properly before and the teeth didn't hurt, right? So now the benefit of having it look great outweighs the fact that they're uncomfortable, they can't chew,
They regret the decision.
and stuff gets stuck in between, and so they have buyer's remorse or they regret that they ever had it done. I don't want that.
Right.
So I will be honest with you when I say, you know what, Tyler, you're not a case for veneers, and and if you understand why you do it, you'll do it. And then, fortunately, we have tools to be able to show people wonderful things. I mean, we talk, like an intraoral scanner that I use, the iTero that I use to scan and get a person to see actually what the teeth look like.
Because you can show them before and after.
Yeah, before and after.
Yeah.
You can do that to move teeth on the iTero element, so you're able to show them.
Shameless
before.
plug.
Shameless plug. Oh, some scanners it can do.
No. It's okay. We're
well, listen. It's this is what I use in my office, so I'm honest
Well,
about
and that's
saying
the thing,
I'm not plugging it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we don't censor ourselves. There's iTero. There's
lots of great
scanners out there.
But the reason
and it's a great scanner. It is.
I choose that one because of that fact, and so a lot of people can say, hey, you know what? That's what I can look like. We use Digital Smile Design, which is a program where we can show you what you look like.
Right.
On a computer program on an iPad.
So how does that work? You take a picture of the person's face, and you have a rendering of the teeth. So you take the picture.
You literally design it to fit their face. And that's 2D. I mean, now we're getting into face scanners where you can design a person. It's pretty creepy, but a face scanner where you scan the face. You literally have a mold of yourself. I had it done on my friend Nelson Rigo, my ceramist, kind of did it for me one time. I said, "That's kind of creepy. It's a mask of yourself."
Right.
Can you imagine now?
Bobby Birdie showed me that before.
Yeah,
That's Dr.
it's
Birdie.
yeah, it's really kind of creepy. So you literally can put you have a face. You put the person's existing teeth in the proper place in the face, and you have a cone beam CT where you actually where the skeleton is in the right place, and you literally have a computer mold of your head. So literally, like I took your head and I stuck it into the computer, and be able to work with that. And how accurate is that? I mean, it's tremendously accurate. I mean, we couldn't do it. We used to use photos. I've been in the game for a long time.
So you can have
like
a
I say,
3D, like you can see the profile.
3D rendering
like,
of everything.
You don't just see it from the front. You can turn their
Faces to the side, and they see everything else. And when they smile, you can see their existing smile, but you can also put something in and render, say, "Whoa, potentially, this is what you can look like." I'm sure Dr. Birdie talked about he can potentially show a person where their implants go and what more or less the final look is going to be like.
Well, yeah, and it I didn't know you imported a CBCT. So by CBCT, I mean a 3D image of the face,
The skeleton.
of the skeleton, right?
All
So
the hard tissues.
knowing that with this 3D software that you can do that for me validates it so much more, because now you're actually working off of the structure of your face.
Yeah.
Instead of just having like a 2D image where it's like, yeah, that's kind of what it's going to look like. This is like, oh, this is a 3D model of your face.
Oh, it's pretty creepy. It's like
crazy.
it's like I put your head in the box. Essentially, I'm thinking of Seven here with
What's in
Morgan
the
Freeman and
box?
Brad Pitt. It's creeping me out here a little bit, but
I know it's in the box, but what do my teeth look like?
yeah, exactly. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. And imagine you're a patient, you can't decide. You know, for us, a lot of us are different learners. Some people are visual learners. Some people are auditory learners. Some people are kinesthetic. They want to touch things and be able to know. But a lot of people simply want to see it,
Right, yeah.
and to be able to grasp it. You can describe it with photos. You can write all the brochures and paperwork you want. But you know, we as dentists get it. But you got to imagine your patients, do they really understand what it is, aside from they see the one picture, they see a photo, they see a celebrity on TV, and they say, well, I kind of want their teeth.
Make me look like that.
Well, I get requests for that. You know, I want to look like Halle Berry. I want to look like Julia Roberts' teeth, and I want to look like Angelina Jolie, or they'll bring someone in, but that's not you. I'm putting somebody else's teeth in your mouth,
Yeah.
but it may not work because they have different shaped faces.
They've got bigger teeth.
They're
and
different people.
Those
Yeah.
larger teeth don't really fit. Your face is half the size of Julia Roberts, so it doesn't work for you. Speaking of which, you're kind of the guy in Vancouver for that, aren't you?
Well, I do a lot of it. You know, I don't.
No, I
don't
mean
say-
like with celebrities and stuff like that. You have a lot.
I have a
of
few
famous
people that have come through my office, and you know, I don't talk about it a lot
No.
because
Can you tell us who?
Well, no, I've had different people come in.
Patient confidentiality.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm happy to say, because they've shared it with me. You know, so you know, I'm pretty happy to say that the most recent was Orlando Bloom was in.
Really?
And
You worked on Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, and actually made his bite better, because he was pretty happy about that. So he says, anytime I'm rolling in town, you're my guy. You know, Kim Basinger was in. You know, she had you know, a couple of veneers break off while she was up here shooting. You know, I can happily say, you know, I worked on Bo Derek as well, for those who remember who she is. And
I do.
And I had to.
I'm aging myself now.
I had to take out one of her front teeth and put her back together again while she was up here shooting. And so
That wasn't a slight to her. That sounded awful. I'm aging myself. I didn't mean that way. She's. I just meant I remember watching as a kid.
Yeah,
and not being allowed to watch Bo Derek.
Yeah,
movies.
Dakota Johnson was up when she was filming. So I've had different people in my office,
Dakota Fanning, or is it Dakota?
but Dakota Johnson,
Am I?
you're lost. You don't even know
I
who
am
she
lost.
is. 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, okay, yeah. My wife watched it. I don't know.
Well, it's a girly
I fell
thing. It's a
asleep.
girl. It's
That's
one of those things.
a little insight into my my marriage love life there. Honey, you're gonna miss this part. Sorry.
Well, listen. Everybody has, you know. I think, in all honesty, everybody has, you know, a celebrity or somebody well known that comes into their office. I'm speaking about the dentists as well. You know, and it's
Right.
yeah, you can you know, for you. I mean, you if you're going to use or work with them or mention their name, it's just nice to ask, and if it's okay to take a picture or do something with it, because some people actually do mind. but they don't. But I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of people that are in the entertainment and film industry, whether they're in front of the camera, behind the camera, they're part of some crew that go through my office, and they're great people. They're like everyone else. I've had, you know what. Being an actor yourself, you know what goes on in any sort
an
of
ex-actor
in a production, whether it's film or television. It's a large crew. It's not just the people in front of the camera. There's a lot of people behind it.
And there's been such a huge resurgence in the last 5 or 6 years in Vancouver. I mean, my shift from the acting profession to dental was, in 2010 it was a tough go. Having a young family, trying to make coming out of the first decade of the 21st century, where there was a decent amount of work, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared, and you've got a mortgage and a child to look after. You're like, holy crap!
Well, I know it's just like that's a funny thing, because this morning I was sitting around and she goes, "What does Tyler look like, Sharon?" I said, "I think you've met him before," and she went and Googled you. I go, "I know." That's why I said, and she says, "Oh yeah. He looks much more handsome there." I go, "That was at least 10 years ago, that picture. He doesn't look like that anymore." And she was quite impressed with your resume. You've done a lot of different things prior to in your previous life to now life as working with Shine and being a father and a husband. It was a different time, that's all.
I'm a 100% all in kind of guy. So when I was an actor, I was 100% into it. Which obviously can make your personal life a little bit precarious. But I was always lucky to have a very solid foundation with my wife, and she was always steadily employed, which helped us as an actor. But when Colby came along, it was harder to go. You just felt like after a while, once you have a child, it's not about you anymore, right?
No.
And, as you know. So for me, I was like, you know what, I love this profession. I've had a certain amount of success with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay putting it sort of on the shelf for a little while, and I kind of tried to do it like the two things consecutively for the first year or so, and then what I realized is that if I'm really going to take dentistry on, if I'm really going to go after this particular industry, I'm going for it. Like I want to really get into this, because it started to become really interesting to me, and here we are today.
Remember when you meet a dentist for the first time, you got to take your business card and just throw it right down in front of them. That's the way to get their attention.
That's a great story. You should tell that story.
It was pretty funny, because when I met Tyler as a new rep, my friend Reza. We were sitting at
I miss
Craft.
that guy. Have you talked to him lately?
Yeah, he lives down the street.
We gotta get him on the show
he lives closer than me. Closer to me now than ever, and we never see each other. When he was living in Coquitlam and I was living in Vancouver, it was a lot easier because we talked and saw each other more than when he lives like 5 blocks away from my house.
He's doing well?
But he's great. He's doing great. He works with Uptime now, which is he's out of dental.
Right, yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah. So, anyways, Reza was your territory manager at the time. He was introducing you to me.
He was our speaking of scanners, he was our Plan Mecca scanner rep.
Oh, was he?
Or I guess account manager or whatever his title was. But he was kind of the guy in charge of selling the Plan Mecca intraoral scanner. So that's how him and I knew each other.
It was funny. So we decided to meet up, and Reza says, "Yeah, I got a new guy. You'll like him." He at the time I actually didn't work much with Shine until I met you and Reza, because Reza's a great friend. So I work like that. I mean, if I like a company or I like the people, I'll follow the people because good people are hard to find in different companies. I usually chase the person, and if I stay with companies, dental companies, that if they're good, I'm very loyal. I'm not a company jumper very often. Thank you. So that's how I work. That's how we roll, man.
That's how we roll, man.
But anyways, Tyler was sitting there, and I just shook his hand, introduced him. He takes his business card, and I use this for example. He goes, "And here's my card," and he threw it down in front of me, and my first reaction was, "Who is this guy, Reza? Who is this guy? Let's do that again." We had to go.
Well, in my defense, we got a couple of personalities at the table, right? And Reza talks you up. He's like, "Okay, now don't be a wet noodle when we talk to this guy, okay? Like, show him some personality." Lowe is pretty well known in Vancouver, so make sure you like bring your personality, okay? He says, "Don't So when I showed up, I was like, yeah, hey, how's it going? I'm Tyler. I threw this card down. Well, what has it been, like 7 or 8 years? And he won't let me live it down.
I wanted to take the card and go, hit me. What am I supposed to do when a guy throws it down?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good first introduction.
It was nice, and you've become a really good rep. I say that from my heart. You've worked with me in my office. My team likes working with you, and that's one of the nice things about it is that you're able to get me things I can't get, or if you can't get it, you'll find a way to get it for me. Like, it's very easy for a rep to say, well, we don't carry it. We can't get it. That's not our brand. We don't know how to do it. But you take the extra step and kind of go, I know we can't get it, but here's
I know somebody who does.
Yeah, I know somebody who does, and I know it's not even our company, but my job, my client is important to me, and I'm going to support you in finding what you want, which is it says a lot.
Well, it's critical, and I appreciate that. Thank you. It's important for me. I mean, I have in the short amount of time that I've been in dental, I think one of my main objectives has been to reach out to as many people as I can and have those resources like Reza and even though Reza doesn't work with us anymore, I mean, I still speak highly of him, and if he ever comes back into dentistry, for whatever reason, right?
That's right.
If he comes in and he starts selling lasers, or if he starts selling, like a CBC team, or whatever he wants to start doing, and he's doing very well at what he's doing now, so I'm not going to go that way, but it's having that network of people, of knowing and saying, oh, you know what, I had a few beers with this guy a couple weeks ago, you got to meet him, he's good. Yeah. So speaking of which,
beers? Did you say beers?
Is it
time, or are you bringing up beers?
There's a six-pack underneath the table here. We can skip the dishes summit. No, just kidding. You have mentored me over the years, so I want to thank you for that. And one of the things that I brought in with me today is I actually got you something.
Well, excited. A present.
It's hot in here too. It's hot in here, so it's going to be. We'll see how this goes. This might get a little bit sweaty. But
sweaty or sweaty?
Let me just hold on a second. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you the choice.
That makes it even tougher.
I know I call this a podcast, but we do videotape it for moments like this as well. So I got a couple of ugly Christmas sweaters. and I think this one might suit you the best because you do get celebrities coming to your office from time to time, so you do get quite a few our American friends come to see you. So I figured, you can not only wear this during Christmas time now, but you can wear this lovely Christmas sweater with a moose on it.
Moose.
when your famous celebrity patients come through the office.
Ooh, what do you think, Rook?
Go ahead, try it on.
No way.
Come on.
I got to put this over the. Okay, let's put the moose back on after I put the sweater on. Look at this; it's a beauty.
Okay,
check this out.
Now
Happy holidays.
We've got a couple things here. You can wear the sweater. If it's too hot, I brought you some glasses to wear, just like because we're talking.
Would they cool me off? Look at this! I slipped it over the headphones easily.
Some serious dentistry conversation happening here.
Wow.
So mine, I mean,
it's a little snug.
We make fun of me for being Irish, and I thought, this isn't an Irish leprechaun, but it's pretty close. I mean, it is an elf, and I thought, I might be able to cut the hat off and put a little top hat on him when St. Paddy's Day comes along. And
this is a little snug for me. When does your wife need this back by?
I thought tighter was better. Okay, sure. So
wow.
Now I gotta
look at this. I'm like Jean-Claude Keely from the 70s.
That looks good on you. You've been working out. Okay, hold on.
Okay, just Moosey sit right about here.
You gotta stick Moosey on your chest there. Oh, that's beautiful. I wish.
Moosey's on my chest.
If you're listening to this podcast.
It's like I got a baby Bjorn. I'm carrying a child here.
I'm dying. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I can put mine on now. Just one sec.
You can wear the glasses. Moosey can wear the glasses. I don't need the glasses. I'll look like Elton John throughout this podcast. Okay. So I'm roasting in this.
That's what I said.
I feel like a baked potato.
I was already hot. Now I'm going to get even hotter. Not in a good way. Okay. So you have Moosey. My iPad's probably blocking Alfie. What should we call this guy? So are you going to call, what's your name for?
I haven't decided what I'd name my moose yet.
Okay. All right. So as we said, what's today? December 20th? Christmas
5 more
sweaters.
days.
5 more days. Christmas sweaters. What do you think?
It's a beauty.
Can we see that? I can't
It's
see.
on the 5 more days left to Christmas. 5 golden rings.
I know I asked Katrina what she wants for Christmas today. She got very upset when I asked her that question.
Why?
She said, you do know what day it is, right? It's a little deceptive, right?
Yeah, it's running out of. You got
'Cause
plenty
I
of time
got it.
because
I
you're a
got it
guy.
and stuff.
You know why? Because you're a guy.
I am a guy.
You know what that means?
I'm painfully a guy.
Because
too.
for guys do this. They make their list, and it's like a covert operation. You go, okay, here's the fastest path to get in and out. For me, this is what I do. I go, okay, I got to go to this store. Don't look at other things. Go in, get that. And here's a little tip for anyone out there who wants to go Christmas shopping. If the stores close at 9 p.m., go at 8 because that's the best time. Because most people will clear out. No, I go in there. It's always dead. Yeah. Don't go first thing or first thing when everything opens because you can just go in and there's no lineups. But I tell you, 8.
That doesn't work now. Like when you're within 5 days, as soon as those doors open, it's chaos.
Well, that's chaos. But at night when they're about to close with half an hour left, that's the time to go in there. So it's like a covert operation. I got this, bam, 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 back in the car and out of here. Now, women shop a little differently. They'll go in, make a little circle, take a bunny trail here and go, oh, look at this. I didn't know this. I could be buying for next Christmas. I'll buy 3 of those and I'll go here. And they go, I didn't think about that. And they're in there for hours. I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying that's the way I shop.
That's your personal experience of it.
Going in.
We're not.
Get in, get out.
We're not using a broad brush here. We're using, and I have a similar experience. And this is the thing is that when Katrina shops that way, I love it. You know why? Because it means I don't have to. It means I don't have to.
You just have to take care of her.
That's about it. Take care of her.
Yeah. And with 5 days left, really, that's 4 days too many.
Well, you would think that because I spend 4.5 of those days going, I don't know what to get her. Wish I get her. You know, but I do know what to get her. Of course I do. But okay, so I also got some glasses and a hat. Do you want the glasses or the hat?
No, really I got some glasses here. It's getting a little warm in here now. That's why I stripped down to a T-shirt before I started the podcast.
I might leave the hat for Colby. That looks that's pretty small.
That's reasonable. It'll be too warm.
The hat's off the table.
Hat's off.
Can you try the glasses on for me?
Oh, I'd be happy to. Look at that. Now, I'd be really impressed if I could fit these around here and make them fit. There you go. They're beauties.
That's good.
What do you think?
Here, cheers.
Here. I think it's time.
It's selfie time now.
It's selfie time because this just is too good.
Should I have the hat on? Hold on. Maybe I should have the hat on for this.
Oh, you got to have the hat on for this. If I'm gonna look festive and ridiculous, the least you can do is look ridiculous.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
It's getting serious now. I gotta it doesn't even fit on my head. My melon is so big.
It's large. It's the size of Jupiter.
That looks silly.
Oh, that looks silly. Look.
Okay, hold on. Can I fit? See, as long as I keep the ears out, I should stay relatively not too hot. Can I make this work? How does this work?
I think it works. I think you're.
Can you still see Santa's legs?
You know what's funny is facial recognition on my phone doesn't recognize me. I wonder why. I have to type it in because it really doesn't recognize me.
You have a Santa hat on your face. That's why.
Do I?
Hey, you got a Santa hat on your face.
Okay, I think it's time to do. I'm doing a live podcast here with Tyler McClendon for Dentist on Demand, and
you're recording recording ourselves. This is good.
Oh, I know. Isn't that great? Because we're in here doing a podcast, and I've got my besties on. I think this looks great, doesn't it?
No, do you have any others? I think they're your besties and your onlys.
All right.
Okay, so we covered celebrities you worked on. I got some questions here, like, what's a crown, what's a veneer? But I think most people know what those
People know.
are,
Here,
right?
I can't see these because these are someone else's glasses, but I'll
That's
put them
okay.
down like this.
That's
How's
all right.
that?
Yeah, give them to Lucy there.
Yeah, people know. And you'd be surprised people that don't know. I mean, what is I think it's semantics. Like what, I'll make it really easy. A veneer generally covers the front of your tooth.
Right.
And that's all.
like a
And
jacket
maybe
that goes around the front.
maybe a little on top, maybe just around the side, so it covers it. So if you think of a box, it's covering the front, maybe a bit of top, maybe a bit of the sides. Whereas a crown covers the whole tooth, like a hat. And I always say it's like a hard hat. And if you got a tooth with not too much tooth structure, like a lot of it's broken down, you got a lot of fillings on it, it can help reinforce it.
Okay.
A veneer is a cover. It's like a book cover. And some people say it's a false fingernail.
Right.
It goes on top, and it just change the color, change the shape a little bit.
So why would somebody pick a veneer over a crown? Or vice versa?
Well, I don't know. Why would they pick a veneer over the crown isn't the patient's decision.
Okay.
I think a lot of the time it's, the dentist can do some recommendations. If the person comes in and their teeth are really quite straight, I'm looking at, something simple like Invisalign orthodontics or something easy to get them straight because personally I don't want to grind people's teeth when I put veneers on. So a lot of times we can do, you've heard many names. They can be called additive veneers, prepless veneers, no prep
Prepless
veneers,
veneers, that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
no reduction veneers. There's a lot of names for it. The idea is, are your teeth suitable to have veneers put on without damaging your teeth or cutting away your tooth structure to put it on?
Okay, so why does somebody want that? Why does somebody want a minimally, what is it, a prepless veneer?
Well, prepless veneer, I mean, they don't come in saying, well, Dr. Lowe, I'd like a prepless veneer or like a minimally invasive veneer. They generally come in saying, I want veneers, and then and a lot of the times they say, well, what's the process? I hear they grind away like the front of your tooth to do that.
Right.
And, for some people, they're willing to do that. For some people, they're not willing to do that. They're saying, I don't want it done. Now, when I started doing them prepless, I had a number of patients who were finally, after 10 years later plus, were willing to do it because I didn't have to grind their teeth. And that's kind of a nice thing. You think it's a myth, but no anesthetic, no tooth preparation, no pain. You just place them.
It's a lot more.
If this was something visual, I could show you, some of the things that are done. But,
Okay, I gotta take this off. I'm dying. Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, when you come in and say, well, I want to be conservative or prepless, they don't want to cut their teeth down. Whereas in some situations, a person comes in and let's say their teeth are crooked, they've had a lot of fillings, the teeth are really dark. A veneer is not going to mask it because when you think about it, it's a thin shell. It's like wax paper.
Right.
You can kind of see through it. And so there may be additional things you need in order to get the result they're looking for. So having a veneer isn't something they say, I want veneers and I'm going to look like,
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom or whoever they pick as a celebrity. There's challenges because everybody's different. So our job as dentists who do aesthetics is that we look at that. And for me, it's like, how can I get here in the most conservative way, doing the least amount of dentistry?
So maintaining the original structure of the tooth and enhancing the aesthetics.
Yes, without doing much to the teeth themselves.
I sound like a dentist now.
I know, it's scary. It's osmosis. You're picking it up.
You're helping me.
It's like the Matrix. You become Smith.
That's right. I'm off the grid.
Mr. Anderson.
They keep pulling me back. No, what movie is
Well-
that? They keep pulling me back. I forget.
What happens is, so when somebody comes in, for me, and I can speak for me, and it's just, there's no right or wrong, but it's just the way I do it. If I were a patient going to see someone, I want the least amount done to my teeth with the maximum results. Okay, so.
Yeah.
And as in the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, our motto is responsible aesthetics, right? So what does responsible aesthetics mean? It means that we try to get a person, it wasn't responsible cosmetics, it was responsible aesthetics. What that means is that we want to functionally put a person in health, meaning getting them functional, getting them healthy, and have a nice result.
That's interesting because so I was in the office with you the other day, Sorry, I got some sound effects here I want to try. And we were talking about, so I was bouncing some ideas off you because that's the great part of our relationship is that I get to bounce ideas off you. Hey, Ed, what do you think about this? And we were talking about a video portal for Dentist on Demand. Excuse me. And the pros and cons of that. And then we started having this discussion about responsible dentistry and I guess what a Pandora's box that would be if you started talking a little bit about diagnosing stuff over Skype or like over sort of a video conference type of platform, and what that the impact of doing responsible dentistry if you start going down that road of diagnosing or prescribing or identifying issues over your computer versus looking at the patient in your chair.
Yeah, it's when I
and I only bring that up because
I'm not the conscience of my profession. I know that in every profession there's 80% of the people do it a certain way, 20% of people do it things a certain way. What is right, what is wrong, and what is the median, right? So I'm not here to judge what other people do, but in my own practice and what works well in my hands is I have a belief that we have a responsibility to our patients to do the best job that we can, to fully educate ourselves to know what to do to get a great result for our patients, and to do it in a very conservative way. Where our job is not to take a patient who has crooked teeth, make them all into crowns and spin them down, and yes, it can be done. But what is the price the patient's going to pay down the road? Well, they have to have something redone again. And what is the cost of mutilating your teeth? I call it mutilating because when you take a perfect set of teeth that are pretty good, I've seen young people in their 20s come in and they say, we got these veneers. I say, they aren't veneers, they're caps. Well, yeah, they ground them down into little nubs. Really? I go, but you're only 23 years old. Like, what is the responsible part of it on the part of the clinician? Now, if the patient signed their life away and literally, I will do everything I can to have a young person not do that.
Right.
Because if they're well informed, they wouldn't choose that path. Let me give you, for example, okay, let's say the average veneer lasts 10 to 15 years. And a person who's, let's make our math easy. Right. Sometimes I pick 23 and I go it's hard to
pause while I calculate.
Let's say somebody who wants veneer comes in and they're 25. And I think most people's teeth are pretty good at 25. I mean, if they've gone through, as a child had orthodontics, they had pretty good teeth. But let's say they don't. And they come in and they say, well, I want to get veneers. And somebody and they're crowded, and they're more comprehensive. So you hear the term instant orthodontic. We'll make these crooked teeth straight by just grinding as much way as we can. So that person will have to have it replaced, and I'll be generous. I'll say they last 15 years. Okay, so they're 25. They replace them at 40, 55, 70, and maybe 85 if they choose it. Now let's go 10 years, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. 5 times you're going to replace them.
Veneers, yeah.
There's not much tooth left by the time you're done. Well, veneers, crowns, whatever it is, right? So I want my patients to think about that, and what's the cost to them of redoing it? Because it can be a pretty expensive procedure. Right. So if you're redoing it every 10 years, it's pretty expensive.
Is that the lifespan of a prosthetic, like a veneer or a crown?
I can't say. They say, the literature says, well, on the average, 10 to 12 years, right? Or 10 to 15 years, right? And it depends on the patient's habits, the clinician's diligence in placing it. It's like tile, right? You can slap tile on, or you can put it on very carefully and install it. So how long is it going to last? It depends on the installation, quality of the tile, right? And it depends on the floor you're putting them on.
Right, the foundation.
Yeah, the foundation. If it's nice and flat and it's not bumpy, and the tiles were installed evenly and everything fit well, it's gonna last a long time. What if the foundation was uneven, and the tiles weren't good quality? They crack, or the grout you used in between there was was not put on properly, then you're going to have broken tiles, stuff getting under the tiles. I like the tile analogy.
The tile analogy.
Well, it's true. So you had veneers installed, and do they crack? Should they not have veneers? Do they break all the time? Does cement wasn't installed properly? Does it leak? Does it turn black underneath?
There's a lot that goes into it. Hey?
Yeah, and were they uneven? Were the teeth uneven to begin with? Mm-hmm. So when I do, if you took a case where you didn't have to do anything with the teeth, that's ideal. If they are slightly crooked, if I straighten them and tip them in a bit, I can do prepless veneers. Half the cases I do, or more, I don't touch the teeth. In some cases, you can't do that for everything. So for the person who promises, well, we just do, and I see ads out all the time, well, our veneers are non-reduction. Really? Are they? Every single person can have a non-reduction tooth. I'll tell you right now, if those teeth are bell-shaped,
you cannot generalize
You can't do prepless veneer because the person wants to, maybe the gap's closed and they're bell-shaped teeth. Good luck with that, because you can't slip something flat over something that's wider on top and thinner at the bottom.
So when you say bell-shaped, so you're talking like the shape of the tooth, like
trapezoid-shaped. It's wider at the bottom than the top. Well, veneers slip on. So how are you going to close the gap by the gum line? It leaves it wide open.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can't do that. It's not going to work ever, right? Unless you do it by hand, by bonding. You can do it that way because you got the freedom to do that. But when you take a solid piece and you slip it on, if it's always slightly tapered, so it seals. But if it's wider at the top than the bottom, you go seat it. Guess what? It's wide open.
This is wide open. So
and that's a challenge.
It's bound
sometimes.
to fail.
Well, you're closing it with you're trying to seal it with grout. It's like tiles that don't come together. The tighter the tiles, the great, because there's not much grout in between. But if you leave it wide open with grout, the grout's going to wear.
Right.
So I like the tile thing.
I like
it kind of tells you what's going on.
My father-in-law he tiles a lot of our house for us. It's great having a father-in-law who's a general contractor.
Oh wow.
He does everything for us, and he cooks.
Can I borrow him for a while?
What is it? He is.
That's awesome.
He's a magician. He's fully renovated our house. And when you talk about tiling, I think about Gary, my father-in-law, because he tiled our bathroom, he's tiled our front entranceway, he's tiled half of our flooring. I mean, it's magical to have him there. So I always give a shout out to Gary Boyer, my father-in-law there. Okay, so talking about orthodontics, and you don't have to go down this road if you don't want to. I see Smile Direct show up on my feed a lot. Okay, so I'm just curious what your thoughts on Smile Direct are, and I might edit this to take Smile Direct out of it, but I'm going to say it
falls in the category of somebody doing aesthetic dentistry. I mean, it's one of our tools.
Right?
It goes well. Let me backtrack a little bit, because earlier on you kind of mentioned that. Oh, what do you think of people getting consults by mail or email or online?
Oh yeah, the video thing.
Yeah, and the video thing. I tell you, it's a start. Right. But ultimately, you have to go in for an exam and spend time with the person you're seeing to actually get a feel for it. It's very tough to do things. It can be done. Don't get me wrong. It's a start of the conversation. It's a start of a conversation.
Right.
But certainly, it's not the middle of the body of it, because ultimately, if somebody, say, is from Dallas, Texas, and just say, hey, I saw your, and everybody looks good on Instagram or Facebook or websites, hey, I saw your stuff, I'm excited, and you have video consults, and here's some pictures of my teeth, what do you think, right? And if you go on a website like Real Self or something, it's a classic for that. People have questions, they put their teeth up there and say, well, what can you do with that? And I see promises made by people that shouldn't be promising, clinicians that are promising, well, we can do this and this and this with you. And it's challenging to do that because the person's not there. But I think anyone who wants to, first of all, you should do your due diligence. Like, I know nothing about roofing, but I certainly need to know if I'm replacing my roof, the quality of the roofers, their experience, what goes into that. Their fees, is that person going to spend time to come out for a site inspection, et cetera? Are they just going to do it over the phone, right? So I worry about things over the phone. The same with teeth. You want to actually make the trip out there to have a consultation. I'll tell you, deadly. I have several patients that they say, "Hey, you know what, Dr. Lowe, I saw somebody. It's always, it's a better price. It was your price that it's expensive. So I'm seeing somebody else." And I say, "Okay,
Hold on.
And and I think it's great. Honestly, my answer is never one negative. I say, listen, if you can get 2 veneers for the cost of one of mine, you owe it to yourself to check it out. But make sure you check out that they do their due diligence. It's quality work. You have a ceramist or somebody building the teeth that's reputable.
That knows what they're doing. Yeah,
knows what they're doing. So the thing with that is, when you do that, I've had some patients go down, or another one, they go, they're in Beverly Hills. It's great, and the pictures look great on Instagram, and it's spa-like down there, and they claim, I can get a paraffin dip, and they'll do a pedicure and manicure while I'm doing this. And I said, well, that's down. I said, and it's, I can make a trip out of it, but it pains me to see them come back and go, I don't like my teeth. It wasn't what I thought it was, or the ones that go to Costa Rica or Mexico to get their, it's like
tourism dentistry,
and they come back and they go, I go, listen, these aren't veneers. This person capped or crowned your teeth. They ground your teeth, and they don't know any better. So, maybe the person they go see says, it's, we always do this, and it'll be better if we did this. And as a patient, you don't really know. So you're down in Beverly Hills, you're down in Mexico somewhere. You go, well, I'm already here. If you're gonna grind it a bit or take some tooth away, okay, well, we have to. And they come back with caps or crowns, and now they say, well, can you veneer that? I go, no, it's not a veneer anymore. We can try and fix it or make it look better, and they always come back kind of pasty white for some reason, for the most part.
Cloudy white.
But I feel for my patients or any patient that goes down and gets the work done. Now you have to fix it. Nobody wins. I don't win because I have to fix up a situation that could have been much easier before.
And there's a reason that my day-to-day. There's a reason that the products that I sell to my dental clients have to be Health Canada approved. That governing body is there for a reason, right? So it's important to know. I mean, you and I talk about this, and it's important to know that what's being put in your mouth has been approved by a regulatory body. Mm-hmm. Health Canada is there for a reason, to make sure, to keep us all safe.
Well, you can buy what they call gray market products, but it may be expired. You don't know that they're legit. Hey, you know what? There's always a better price. So we're always looking for a deal, but it's always buyer beware. Be careful what you're getting into, because there's it's.
Is this Health Canada approved? That's what I mean. Like that's
safe.
But I think if more patients know that, right? If you're saying to someone, if you're, and I'm not sort of putting this in Canada or anywhere else. I'm just saying, like, what are you putting in my mouth? What is this product you're putting in my mouth? Just start with that basic question. Is that approved? Is there a regular? If I'm in Costa Rica, is there a regulatory body governing what's being put in my mouth right now? What is that? How's it made? Who approved it? Mm-hmm. And that's, for me, that's important. Now, of course, I have an inside track on that. I see products, and I see the regulatory bodies involved in this, and I understand that this has to get approved by these bodies before it can be used in the dental practice. But Joe off the street doesn't know that.
No, how do you know you're getting a quality product in your mouth,
right,
from a reputable company? You just don't. You just nobody says, "Wait a second, what is that filling material you're putting in?" I don't think a patient ever stopped me and says, "Wait a second, what's that? Where's the crown? Where's the certificate that says,
right,
was done by a reputable lab?" And dental laboratories are another one. Is it, what lab are you using? Mm-hmm. Right? Is it a quality lab? Is it a production lab? Is the lab reputable? And my best analogy for anyone who wants to know is that we dentists, caveman. In caveman terms, we dentist.
You patient.
Well, we're architects. We design your teeth. We may get things ready. We shape it, but we also need a builder, which is a ceramist or a dental technician, to be able to build. I may design a great preparation, and you may have a builder build you a tooth that's maybe they're not a great builder, but in the end, what do you see? The builder's work, not my design work. Okay, so I'm the architect, and you have a builder. In housing terms, you have somebody who designed on paper a great house, and then in the end, the house is not that well built. Conversely, what if I was a terrible designer and you've got a great builder, right? So once again, the teeth aren't prepared properly for the great builder to be able to put a great restoration on. So you have thin areas, they're uneven, it cracks, the edges aren't smooth. So once again, in house terms, you may have an architect that doesn't design something well. You got a master builder building your house, and then all of a sudden things go wrong. You've got things leaking, foundations sinking, and that sort of thing because the architect didn't plan ahead.
Yeah. And speaking on the lab side of things, there are authentication stickers, as you know, when the prosthetic comes back from the lab. There's actually these little IdentSram stickers.
Yes,
come with
there is.
So if you do have if you are getting a crown or a veneer made and it's coming back from a lab, and it's made, whatever process it's made by, there are authentication stickers you can get. But talk to your dentist about that, and they'll probably fill you in a little bit more. Okay, we have talked a lot today. I want to have you back on this, by the way. There's too much fun stuff.
I talk too much. It's too easy.
It's too easy. No, it's fun. Next time we'll do one in the afternoon, so we can do like a sampler. Like maybe
that'd be
couple
nice.
Nice breweries around
Yeah,
here.
For me, it's fun talking to you. For me, we just talk because we talk all the time, anyways. But the fact that I give presentations. I teach a study club. I lecture, so this is a comfortable environment. I've done podcasts in the past. So.
Sorry, I'm doing a U-turn back to the smile, the ortho stuff.
Okay, let's do that.
So let's go back to that. I was about to wrap it up, but I just remembered because I saw my notes here. I kind of want to just talk a little bit about that.
Clear choice question.
Clear choice. Well, I don't know. I want to keep the names out of it. I'm just going to say like DIY ortho or any of that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are orthodontists as well. So I'm like, geez, like guys, what do you think about this? Like, now we're entering an era. There's a new decade starting in a few days, where there's a conception out there, or a perception, that you can take a picture of your face and send it off to somebody in another far off land, and they'll send you back all your Invisalign trays or whatever. I won't say Invisalign, I'll just say like a clear aligner tray system. And you can do your own ortho at home.
Okay.
So what's your take on that?
Once again, it's no different than doing your dentistry in another country that you don't know the person. And here's my take of it. Okay, I'll go through this because I do this all the time. I do 6-month smiles. I do Invisalign in my practice. I am not an orthodontist. I've taken lots of training to do these two particular procedures. So the question I ask is, okay, then why would I ever use an orthodontist? Listen, I've done some of this. I know some general dentists that have done study clubs. They've spent a lot of time. The majority of the practice is orthodontics. They're not an orthodontist, but they have taken enough training to be an orthodontist, and they know a lot about orthodontics. So those are the people that do a lot more of the cases, and they're comfortable doing it. And it's no different with dental implants. It's no different with cosmetic dentistry. It depends on your training. Mm-hmm. Now, if a person comes to me and I'm an orthodontist is going to, let's say Tyler McClendon came in to see me and says, I never liked a little bit of my crooked front teeth, and I just like them to straighten them out a little bit. I'll be really happy, right? If you went to see an orthodontist, the orthodontist will align your midlines, make sure you're in class 1. They will make sure all your teeth occlude. They will twist things around until it's perfect. Mm. And that's what we strive for with our kids and everything else. There's a section of the population that says, if you just straighten these out a bit, I'll be happy. So it is not perfect. It's in a zone of excellence that the patient can appreciate.
Right.
And so with Invisalign, 6-month smile, we can get perfect, but we can also take it patient where their midline's not perfectly in the center of the face, or the upper and lower don't match. Remember my orthodontist, I think he was just doing it for fun because he was a good friend of mine, just moving my teeth back and forth and just to keep me in it. But I was in it for 2.5 years. Okay.
In Invisalign.
No, in brackets, in traditional orthodontics.
Oh, wow.
Now, if most Invisalign cases and 6 month smile cases, I mean, anywhere from 6 months to 10 months, a lot of the work is done. I'm generalizing here. I don't want somebody to go hold me to
right.
what I just
you
said.
6 months.
Well, some people are quite complicated, and then you got to decide. You know, as a general dentist, do I want to take that on because I have lots of experience, or is it better to refer to an orthodontist who has the experience and will take that on using Invisalign or a combination of Invisalign and traditional braces, right?
Right.
And that kind of answers. It's a long way around my question here. In a lot of general practices, it seems like every dentist does Invisalign, but you've got to once again go at, like, every dentist does cosmetics. A lot of dentists do implants, but you need to ask good questions as a consumer.
Right.
So going back to the one's small direct club where you can go, where you can just stand there and go online and say, well, I'll send this in. I will have to say that they can take you if you've got some crooked front teeth. Yeah, a photo and a cast, they can get you to a certain place. But do those teeth come together? Do they fit? Or are they under the supervision of a licensed dentist or orthodontist? I can't say that they can promise you that, but I can promise you it's cheap.
Right.
Okay, and so that's why I say buyer beware. I mean, you may end up with a result you don't like, and then there may be some, we can't help you here. We're not we're online.
We're not authorized.
We're not clinicians. We're just, you asked for it, you sent it in, we moved them to there, and
you signed the waiver.
It's buyer beware.
Right.
That's really my take on things.
Right. Yeah, because there's so much about dentistry that's just not black and white. There's every situation is unique because every person is unique.
Seeing that we're talking about cosmetic work, I mean, what are the main things that cosmetic aesthetic dentists do? When you say, well, I want to get something cosmetic, I mean, it's funny. I always go back to these things: tooth whitening, bonding, veneers. I mean, they always ask about these things, right? And tooth whitening, will take you to a certain stage.
Right.
You can't make gray teeth like as white as as white as this. As white as this cup. Yeah. And you've got to be able to say, well, there's some limitations here. And that's the same with other products like veneers. There are limitations to veneers. Right? Tooth bonding, we can only bond, there's some negatives to bonding, some positives as well. And I see a lot of, particularly implants, for example. I mean, one of the things is, does the dentist place the implants or do they restore the implants? And implants, if you have a back tooth and you stick one in there, is that the extent of what you do? or are you missing teeth and you need a lot of implants? And you see a specialist like Dr. Birdie, whom I work with and teach with in a study club, that it's a lot more comprehensive. There's more to it than that, and you may be needing a person that's more trained to do that. And these are the big areas right now: is Invisalign and in-office orthodontics, veneers and whitening, and implant dentistry. I mean, those are big deals.
Those are big deals. I'm gonna shift it. Thank you for that answer. I think that there's so much there, so we can always come back to that as well. I'm going to ask you one last question before we wrap up.
Okay. You're kicking me out.
You always give me that.
It's quite a way of saying, okay.
I'm
just teasing. I'm just giving you a
I
hard
want to
time.
be respectful of your time too.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
Oh, wrong one. Hold on.
New toy? Did you read the directions?
I highly recommend.
You just put a bunch of buttons there and you're going to test it out.
I recommend anyone that does a podcast should get one of these. These things are amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Does that get your attention or what? What's the future of dentistry?
Wow. Some people say that
That's a
dentistry. That's a
a big question.
That's a loaded question. The future of dentistry is, for me, is that we'll be moving away from traditional things that we're doing, analog things. Most things are going digital. I think it's a great time, a time of growth. And when you say digital, it's no different than a cell phone or social media. You've got a group of people, let's say 40 and under, that are really good at. They've grown up on it. They've grown up on technology. They've grown up on digital. They've grown up on all things computerized. And you've got 40 and above. And I'm generalizing, but generally we're more analog. And we're used to the old things. We're used to the CDs. We're used to the having to take impressions in dentistry. We're used to doing things the old way, pouring up casts, right?
Right.
So when you say what's the future of dentistry, I think it's going digital. I think things are going digital.
We're losing Lucy here.
Lucy. I thought it was Moosey.
Moosey. We're
losing
Moosey.
Lucy the Moosey. Well, I think we're going into. I'll give you an example. We used to take impression material, whether it's alginate, the gooey stuff, or polyvinyl, and take an impression. Now we can use an intraoral scanner and digitally scan the person.
It's a recurring theme. Every podcast I've done, with Dr. Birdie, with Stan's been on a podcast, Leanna across the hall here, she's been on here, and the recurring theme is when we say to someone, everything's going digital, it's a recurring theme.
The recurring theme, yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what it is. Is it a better time for dentistry? Yes. Is it going to change dentistry? I think it's going to change it a lot, because I think more people need to get on board with some of the new technology that's out there, or you're going to get left behind.
Right. And
it's no different than, I'll give you a quick example of digital x-rays. I think digital x-rays were one of the first things that came out, And think about digital cameras too. So you're in the office, you're taking pictures, you take the camera, you take a picture with film, and you got to process it and get the slides back and then load it up for the patient to see. Now with digital cameras, bang, it's right there. And who shoots a film camera these days, right? So
there's cameras, and then there's sensors, right? So
yeah, I'm talking about what I collect for records right now.
Okay.
I use a digital camera.
Okay.
I use X-ray sensors, right? Because back on X-rays in the dental world, you would take the film, you'd process it.
Go into the dark room.
Maybe 4 minutes later, you see whether it turned out or not.
Right.
And then if it didn't, you have to go back to the patient and do it again. No different than a film camera. Nowadays, it's instantaneous. With a sensor, you press a button, you get a shot. If you got it. If you didn't, you shoot it again with less radiation and risk to the patient.
Right. So less radiation. So there's less risk. And when someone says, "I'm gonna use a sensor to take an X-ray of your teeth, of your jaw, instead of using film." Now, I just want to quickly break that open a little bit. They're taking a shot, and then that shot comes up on they can pull it up on a computer beside you, right?
You can pull it on a laptop, on a computer monitor, whatever. They're getting smaller. I think they can. There's some that you can pull up on your phone.
Yeah. So
iPhone,
the speed of that, the speed of being able to take an X-ray and going, boom, there it is. I just took it 30 seconds ago or 5 seconds ago. There's a shot of your face, of the bite wing or whatever we want to, whatever X-ray we're looking at. But just that speed alone, that technology it's been around for 10, 15 years. It's not new, but just knowing that as a patient, saying, are you film based or are you digital when it comes to X-rays? Just knowing that alone is big.
Well, I think that was the first real start of anything. Now, in your when you say what's the future, besides, I think every office is going to have an intraoral scanner soon, as standard as X-ray sensors.
Right.
X-ray sensors
digital
impressions, digital scanner. I think that's the most useful thing you can get. Much like an intraoral camera that people used to have, the value of that was invaluable, and I'm talking 25 years ago. The intraoral cameras, and I think your next, not every office can, because it's impractical. What you need access to, that's probably a better way to say it.
Access to it, yeah.
To a cone beam CT.
Right. 3D picture of the face.
3D picture of the face, because once again, that's your next area for planning. And so with the cone beam CT and a scanner, put it in software to do whatever you want with a person. And I think one day there will be no need for dentists. I know that if you look now on YouTube and that, there's a robot that can put the implant in a person's mouth. It's awkward now.
It's Buck Rogers, man.
But a lot of you look at a lot of surgeries in medicine are done with using robotics, and I think that in the future, I'm pretty good, but I'm not as good as a robot for being able to say, okay, this is the tooth preparation we want. I think a robot can design it way better than I can, because they've got schematics, they got the prep, they got the reduction guide in the software,
programmed in the software.
I do it because I can make quick judgment calls and I can see it visually.
Wow.
But I think that one day you're going to put your head down and a robot's going to come in. They already have machines that clean your teeth. You put your, can you imagine, like a car wash. Like you put your mouth in and all your teeth are cleaned.
That's crazy.
Say in Japan, I saw one online that showed that. So that's where it's headed.
This is the future of dentistry.
Yeah, you said
automation.
you asked me what's going to happen. I think things are automated. Just simply all the stuff that you use is going to get better and better and better.
So maybe more automation with a certain segment of dentistry, and then more human touch on the clinical side, or it's not clinical, but the surgical side. Maybe getting into like actual, I don't even know. I mean, implant placement, bone grafts, sinus lifts, any of that kind of stuff.
Well, even I mean, I do know, and Dr. Birdie can talk more about that. But originally, when we, I learned placing implants 15 plus years ago. It was, if you did a bone graft, you'd wait 6 months. You put an implant in, and you wait 6 months, and then you put your restoration on. Now it's more like you do the bone graft in a lot of situations. You put your implant in, and it's like 3 months later you have a tooth.
You're
and
good to go.
we patients want things fast and as quickly as possible. And
One visit.
we all do. We're that kind of world, right?
No one's got time anymore.
No one's got time. It's a
wants to-
one-stop shop, and they want to do it quickly.
Found my dentist on Demand. Going there right now. Oh, shameless plug. Yay, Dentist on Demand. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks, buddy, for having me.
Yeah.
It's fun. Especially the sweater. It's a keeper. It's a keeper.
You're gonna keep that. So next time I want to see Moosey.
Yeah, but what if it's like March when we're doing this? It wouldn't make a lot of sense.
I'll be texting you. I'm like, I'm coming by. I want to see Moosey today.
I want the spring collection.